So the Immersion Event was an idea that came about because Logan Together has benefited significantly from interest from many different government departments, and we've had visits from senior executives and ministers and other decision makers to come and see the work that is happening on the ground. So we thought, why not provide an opportunity to have a proper immersion?
It was definitely a first time for all of us to be sitting on a bus together and going around Logan and giving them little snippets of the work that happens on the ground. So it was an opportunity to bring together senior departmental people down to Logan and actually experience what Logan has to offer.
And also with the awareness that policy decision makers, program decision makers who are there on the day are responsible for policies that impact Logan directly, but also impact communities across Queensland, across the whole of Australia, and that this is a different way of working that is part of a state and a national conversation. We had a fantastic range of people attending from the Australian Government and from Queensland State Government, ranging from senior executives across different policy areas. So we had representatives from people who worked in economic policy, in health policy, in NDIS, in data policy, in education policy, in employment and small business work. It was a fantastic opportunity to work with our partners across policy areas, but also across jurisdictions, and in what working in this way can look like. The Immersion Event was held over 2 days, on a Wednesday and a Thursday, here in Logan, and we visited a range of locations. So we started out at Gnirigomindala, holding yarning circles with representatives from Gnirigomindala Karulbo, our First Nations advisory group.
It is very important that these government officials do come and visit us out in community. Not only do we get the opportunity to voice our opinion, but it gets those guys out of Canberra to come to the community, grassroots level, where they come and learn as well as us. We can learn what they do. You know, we do exist out in the community, and that's who they work for. And I think too, also, it gives them the opportunity to see what it's like. A lot of them probably don't know about community organisations and how they work. So this gave them the perfect opportunity to be able to watch, listen and learn.
We then moved on to Eagleby South State School and had a look at the fantastic community-led work that's happening in the school as a place of community, particularly around Jumunji land and what loose parts play and child-led play looks like in that school, and how it's working so well with the interests and aspirations of that school community.
We saw a massive reduction in playground fights, conflict, incidents, absolutely massive improvement. And then that transfers into the classroom, because children, and I've said this a few times, a good teacher, and they are good, a good teacher would rather welcome a child into their class with muddy feet than one ready for a fight. And I think that's so important, and it just tells us something. It's wonderful to have people show an interest in this sort of work, because it is a little unusual, but what we seem to be doing here is allowing children to have a voice and to help us put in place what they need for what we call a good life. A good life, that means a healthy life, a life where they're resilient and confident, they're socially, able. It's just wonderful to see children. We have neglected our kids for too long and not allowed them to play properly, and this is establishing something that I hope is going to be a reform. I hope that there'll be this sort of play in many places across Australia.
We spent some time at the Logan Together office, which is based at Griffith University's Logan campus, which is our local university in a beautiful bushland setting. The second day we went out to Village Connect, which is a really core partner of the work that happens at Logan Together, and learnt about the work that's happening in the Pacifica and Maori community and the grassroots community-led work happening there. We went on to the SSI Gateway Hub on Wembley Road in Logan Central and heard about the fabulous work that's happening around First 2000 Days and the Core Suite approach to reimagining Logan's early childhood system. We then spent some time at St Paul's Primary School in their Cold Community Hub, hearing directly from the experience of the Cold Women's Advisory Group and the fantastic work that's happening with the women involved in that group. I think the goal for Logan Together is for us to make real what a lot of policymakers only have an opportunity to read about in policy briefings or work that we publish through our different communications channels. And while it's fantastic to be able to share those stories and experiences and data and fantastic work that is happening, it makes a real difference to be able to bring decision makers into our community to see the work that's happening on the ground and the real difference that working in this way makes.